Hey, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't want to be in front of the camera right now. I am having a low camera confidence day. I wasn't even gonna say like self-esteem day, but it kind of is. But it's also not body related. It's literally like face related. My skin has been acting very strange, not in a way that is breaking out. And I don't know how that's possible. Somehow in my late 30s, my adult acne has managed to finally disappear. That's not the problem. I'm actually having the opposite problem. And for quite some time now, my skin has actually felt very dry. And so my desire to put on makeup in order to show up in front of the camera has been much less, because today I put on liquid makeup and it's like seeping into wrinkles and revealing dry skin that I didn't even know was there. And I look at myself in the zoomed in mirror and I am just, the confidence plummets. It just goes way down because I'm like, oh my gosh, what right do I have to be in front of a camera right now? And that's just me. That's just me. I'm not here for your pity. I'm not here for your sympathy. That's just what I'm going through at the moment, at today. And today is a day that I have a lot of filming that I desire to be doing to be able to work ahead. And it's batch week and it's all of those things. And it's really hard when both your hormones, because instead of having like the exciting ovulatory hormones, I don't feel great. So when hormones aren't acting the way they're supposed to be, and you have this long list of things you want to do when you really don't want to do it anyway, and on top of it all of a sudden you have a body image thing to throw on top of it, it makes things very, very hard. But here I am anyway. And let me tell you why. Because recently in some of the work that I've been doing, I've begun to really understand, and let me be clear, this is stuff that we all know, but it's worth hearing again. And I have no idea what I'm about to say because none of this is scripted. I literally just sat down and pressed go, and whatever is coming out is coming out. But I've been doing a lot of me work lately. And in that, I have rediscovered the importance of showing up. Showing up for nobody but yourself. Let me be fully transparent here. I am not sitting in front of this camera right now for you. I am sitting right in front of this camera right now for me. Why? Because I need to prove to myself that regardless of a bad hormone day or a low energy day or a bad skin day, I'm not going to let that derail me from my long-term goals. I need to show up regardless of how I'm feeling about those things. And yes, there is of course a scale, right? If I really feel terrible, maybe postponing filming until the next day to see if I feel better, yes, that's a thing. But all of these things together feel very minor, or they are very minor, or they feel like they could just be like, oh, an inconvenience. But if you pile them on top of each other, for me personally, that's when things start to stack up and bubble up, and I'm starting to be like, oh, I could feel myself start to shut down. I can feel myself start to shut down, and I don't know if anybody else gets like that. Do you get like that when like all of a sudden the things get so overwhelming? I find there are two types of people in this world. There are the people that when they are faced with the to-do list, when they overwhelm, they're like, all right, let's go. And they buckle up and they're like, let's put your head down, get your things done, and it'll be fine, right? And then there are the other people that instead of getting things done, when everything piles up and piles up and piles up, they shut down completely. Doesn't matter how many things continue to pile up and pile up and pile up. It's just a shutdown. And I felt myself, even in the midst of the excitement of being able to film and create, and I love to create and I love to communicate, I can feel myself beginning to shut down. And that's the reason I was like, okay, everything that I had planned aside, we're gonna just sit in front of the camera and we're gonna see what comes out, because I need to show up. And I mean, I guess I could end the video right here, right? This is the importance of showing up. If you can prove to yourself that a little thing isn't going to get you down, even if the thing feels major, and like my skin stuff feels major to me today, because have I been taking the active steps to fix it? No, I've kind of been like floating by in this level of what feels like mediocrity for a while. In other aspects of life, right? Like I'm very much beginning to acknowledge that I can only do one or two things well at a time. And spoiler alert, guess what? I'm not Superwoman. I'm sorry to disappoint. And because of this, I'm realizing that like, oh, some things give every day. I don't get the to-do list done ever. ever. It's just a perpetual to-do list, and I have to choose the priorities on a given day for that to-do list. And so what I'm realizing is I'm letting a lot of things skirt by, like an extensive skincare routine, doing a mask before I take a shower. And it's all because I'm spending more of my time, more of my energy, more of my efforts, more of my prioritization in other things, important things. And that's great. And that's energizing and it feels really good. But at the end of the day, it's the little stuff that starts to add up. It's the little stuff that creates the clutter in my house that all of a sudden is not overwhelming at all until it is overwhelming. Have you been there? You don't even notice the stuff stack up until one day you hit this breaking point, right? That's kind of what it's like. And it's like almost like my skin is telling me, hey, your self-care is lacking a little bit. Maybe we need to prioritize that a little bit more. But then as I'm looking at myself in this mirror, I have this wonderful mirror. I have this like $300 super zoom in, simple human mirror, and it's wonderful. The problem with it is also the highlight of it. And that is when you step in front of this mirror, you can see every single individual pore on your face. And what that allows me to do is to see and criticize and quite literally pick at every single flaw on my face. I can make out individual hairs for my eyebrows that need to be plucked, which is amazing. But I can also find the wayward hairs that makes me go, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. There's a random black hair here before I tweeze it out. I can see every clogged pore and wonder, do I extract it or do I leave it alone? And today I can see every piece of dry skin that is covered in liquid makeup that I probably shouldn't have put on in the first place. But because it's filming day, I did my normal makeup routine without thinking. The flaw in this mirror is also the reason people buy the mirror. And so I had to take a second and realize that, okay, just because I can see these things doesn't mean everybody else can see it. I'm looking in the lens that is hyper-focused and hypercritical and meant to show you every single flaw. And quite frankly, nobody needs to live in a lens like that. And so zooming out, I was like, okay. But if I step away from the mirror, if I go look in a regular mirror that is in front of my face by, a foot or two, guess what? All of a sudden, the problems that I've been nitpicking about, the things that have been knocking me down and taking me out, all of a sudden aren't as visible. They're not as prominent. And it allows my brain to go, hey, actually, this isn't so bad. Where in your life do you need to step away from the mirror? Where in your life do you need to stop nitpicking about every single pore and instead zoom out and see the big picture? Is it in your weight loss journey? Are you the person that steps on the scale and frets about a 0.1 gain? Maybe it's time to zoom out. Maybe it's time that we zoom out and instead we look at the big picture, the whole mirror, instead of this little hyper-focused mirror. What are you really working on? Is it the weight loss? Is it the 0.1? Or is it the health? Is it the health journey that you're on and the journey to better health that is the bigger picture and thus needs to be the thing that is seen instead of that single pore on your face? Am I making any sense at all? Today I urge you to take a step back, zoom out. Whatever it is, it could be your business. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you're a mama and you feel like you're just not adding up right now. Maybe you're a wife. Maybe you're trying to lose weight. Maybe you're trying to bulk up. Maybe you're going through some emotional things and you're really struggling right now. Maybe you quite literally have skin problems and a mirror that allows you to get too close to the problem to be able to see the big picture clearly. Whatever it is, I urge you today to zoom out. Look at the big picture. And when looking at the big picture, pick a couple of things to prioritize. And in those couple of things, what I want you to ask yourself is this: how can I show up anyway? What are the things that I need to do to show up even though I'm feeling bogged down, even though up close it looks like I am failing or struggling? How can you show up anyway? In your weight loss journey, maybe all you need to do is go for a walk today. Show up for yourself. Instead of doing nothing at all because your workout got derailed, do something. If you're having a day where all you want to do is eat all of the sugary, fatty, less aligned with your goals type things, maybe the way you show up is you fix yourself a healthy dinner first. And then you listen to your body. And if your body tells you that it still wants a little something sweet, then you honor that. But if your body tells you, hey, actually I'm satisfied, then maybe you don't. Maybe you go somewhere else and look for a different outlet for the emotions that are triggering you to want all of those sugary things. And maybe that's how you show up for yourself today. In your business, maybe you're like me and you're a content creator, and all you have to do to show up today is sit in front of the camera even though you really don't want to. I urge you today, show up for yourself, whatever that means for you. Zoom out, look at the big picture, let go of every piece of flaky skin or missed step or zoomed in thing that really nobody else can see. That's the thing, right? No one, none of you can see the stuff on my face. None of you. No one can see that you decided to skip doing a task at work for your business and instead you decided to scroll your phone for 2 hours. No one can see that you didn't vacuum today. I mean, unless maybe you have 4 dogs, and maybe they can see, but that's not the point. No one can see the 0.1 pound that you gained on the scale that's making you feel like an epic failure when really it shouldn't, because it's all part of the journey. The only person that can see that is you. So zoom out, and show up. And that's good enough for today.